welcome back to our channel today. And as you could tell, I'm in the kitchen because I'm fixing to do another cooking video for you. Now this video was very highly requested. No, not really. I'm lying. It was requested though, but it wasn't highly requested. The lady that I got the recipe from her channel, she told me when I got ready to make this recipe to do a video. So that's what I'm fixing to do today. I'm going to make a video of the recipe that I found on her channel. So come right on back and find out what I'm fixing to make in this video. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is to show you the ingredients that you need for this recipe. Don't need a whole lot of ingredients. You need a package of chocolate cake mix. Now the recipe calls for German chocolate cake, but I have some devil's food because I like that. I've actually made this recipe 2 other times. I made one with the devil's food. I made one with the German chocolate. It calls for German chocolate cake. That's what you're really supposed to use. I made one with the German chocolate, and I didn't like it as well as I did with this. So on this one, I'm going to use that. You need a can of coconut pecan frosting, and it can be Betty Crocker or Pillsbury. You need corn oil, and I don't know why, but she said it must be corn oil. You can't use vegetable or avocado or peanut or sunflower or anything. It has to be corn oil. You're going to need 4 large eggs and a cup of water. So let me get these ready, and I'll show you when I put them together. Okay, now the first thing you do in the recipe, you put the 4 large eggs, a cup of corn oil, and a cup of water in a bowl, and you mix it together. And I forgot to tell you that I'm making a cake. She didn't tell me what the name of it was, so I just call it the Frosting Inside Out Chocolate Cake. So you put your eggs and your oil and your water, and you beat that up really good. What this looks like. Then the next thing you're going to add is the dry cake mix. Mix and mix well. I usually like to mix it till all the lumps are gone, and that to me seems like a pretty good mixing. I guess you could use an electric mixer with it, but every time I've made this cake, I've just mixed it by hand like this, and it's not had no problems. You have to get the batter all mixed up and most of the lumps out of it. Now this is where the recipe gets weird, but don't get scared. Doing this next step does something to the cake that makes it fantastic. Best tasting chocolate cake I've ever made in my entire life. You take the frosting and you're going to dump it in here. I know, weird, right? So I usually just take a knife, loosen it up, get out as much of it as I can. And then when you get the frosting in here, you're going to mix that up. All right, I got that all mixed in. Now, you cook it in a bundt pan. And what I like to make sure that it's not going to stick, because the first time I made it, it stuck a little bit on top, and I don't know if I didn't grease it well enough. So what I do is I take soft butter with a paper towel and rub it around. Then I spray it with Pam. And then anytime I'm making a cake that I'm going to dump out of the pan, like this or round can, round cake pans, not the 13 by 9 because I usually leave that cake in there. Anytime I'm making one that I'm going to dump out and frost, I always sprinkle sugar in the pan and then tilt it around like this until the sugar. That helps to kind of like, some people can do it with flour. I like to do it with sugar because then it remains sweet. That'll help it loosen up. And when it gets done, I'm going to try to put it in this pan that I got from the Dollar Tree. I don't know if it's going to work or not. If it don't work on this, I'll just go ahead and dump it on the pan that I've been doing regularly. But after you get everything mixed up, you're going to pour it down into this bundt pan. I'm going to give it one more stirring. All right, as you get it all loaded up in your bundt pan, I always like to shake it a little bit to make it go even. You're going to bake it at 350 oven for 40 to 50 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and then when it gets done, I'll get right back to you. Now, after you cook the cake for 40 to 50 minutes, you remove it from the oven, set it on a cooling rack, and let it set for 10 minutes. So I've actually let mine cool for 15 minutes. So now I'm going to bring it over here and see if I can get it to fit inside of this. And if it don't fit inside of this, which is what I've had it on before. It still seems warm to me, but let's see. I think I'll try it on this part first. So here's what it looks like after it's cooked. And now we will find out if it's going to fit in this or not. Well, if it does, it's going to be tight. I don't think it's going to fit. I wanted to be able to put it on this and put the lid on it to have kind of like a cover. But I have a sneaky feeling it's not going to work, and I'm going to end up taking it out. Oh, this is difficult. All right, here we go. Okay. That pan's still hot, too. See, it come out pretty easy because of all that grease that I had on it. Ooh, that looks pretty. I'm going to keep this in case I have to put it back on there. It's just barely fitting on there. Let's see if the top will go over it. No, it ain't gonna work. I didn't know if it would or not, so I'm gonna put it back inside of the pan and flip it out on this. All right. Let's try this again. Take this off. Put it in the dishes. And put this in the dish drainer. I know it'll fit on this pan because this is the pan that I've been putting it on all these times. All right, we're going to flip it over. It's already loose, so just a matter of getting it on the plate. There we go. Now when you get it done, you have the choice of sprinkling with powdered sugar, eating it plain just like this, or getting another can of frosting and frosting it. And you can either frost the whole cake, powder sugar the whole cake, Or you can take each slice individually and powder sugar it, or cut a slice off and rub the frosting on it. That way, if somebody else is eating the cake and they don't want the frosting or the powdered sugar, they have the option of doing it their way. Now, for some reason, I don't know if you can see it or not, but a little bit of the cake still did stick right there. After all the spreading and stuff that I put. So I'm going to try to, we'll see if I can peel that off, put it back in the cake. Okay, we got it back on there. Mending the cake. Now, we'll just let it cool a little bit more. And then after it cools a little bit more, I will take a little taste test. For another 5 minutes. So I'm going to sample just a tiny little sliver. And I'm going to go ahead and take it on this part where it was messed up. What stuck to the pan. Oops, fell out. Ooh, it's still warm in there. Look at that smoke coming out of there. Sample just a tiny little bit. Here's what I'm going to sample. Now, I've tried this cake. Like I said, I've made it a couple other times before. It's turned out good both times I've made it. I just prefer it made with a chocolate cake instead of the German chocolate. So now we'll do a taste. It's still just as wonderful as it ever was. I love it. It's extremely simple to make, but yet it gives such a elegant taste. Like you put it together for a lot of extravagant ingredients to make such a wonderful moist cake. And it's always moist. It's definitely soft. I don't have any trouble chewing it with no teeth. It's really good. Hope y'all will give it a shot. It's a fantastic recipe. Thank you for visiting with us today. And y'all come back and see us any old time. Bye for this one.